Can you go to yours real quick and see what it sounds like?
Where? YouTube?
Yeah. I mean, I'm live on YouTube, but I can't hear it over here. Can you hear anything? Is there any sound? Hear me? No, but turn your volume up if you need something.
Territory?
None. Okay. So the first thing did was take out the military. Now,
Everybody.
if you had a
Checking out
5-year-old
this,
child
live
and you
stream,
explained the
got a
circumstance,
new,
which I actually did
program,
with a 6-year-old,
and want to
you explained
see,
the circumstance
how well this does,
and
or
said,
how well
should
it
we
don't
take
do.
our military out first or last? The child would say, take the military out last.
Yeah.
The first thing they removed was our military. That's why we had a lot of death, because we had to send in new people that weren't even accustomed to it. These young people, they weren't there for long. They just got there to try and stop things that should have never happened. It should have all taken place at Bagram, by the way. We have a tremendous wall, fence, and you have a lot of, it's a whole different area. You're surrounded by nothingness as opposed to being in the middle of a very crowded area. But we would have had nobody killed. We would have had every single vehicle, every single gun, rifle. I knew that Ghani was a crook. I've always said it. It was always tough because I was dealing with this guy and I was calling him a crook. And I said, he'll leave before anybody else. And he did. And he left, I guess, from what I hear, with a lot of cash. So much so that it didn't fit onto his helicopter and his airplane. And he left a lot of money on the runway. Can you imagine the people that were going out to that runway and they have tens of millions of dollars sitting in the runway? Wouldn't fit into it. They couldn't get it in. That's what we were dealing with, and I said it a long time ago. So I never had any confidence that that was going to work with their army. They were only there and only fighting. Mattis told me, sir, they're fighting for their country. I said, no, they're not. They're fighting for a big check. That's why they oftentimes turned on us and shot our soldiers that taught them how to fight. Actually, they're great fighters, but they would turn and they would shoot. We've never had it. We've never had that before to that extent. It happens sometimes, but it happens so much. When I had to call up parents and talk to parents that your son or daughter's been killed in Afghanistan, the hardest part was telling them that it was people that they trained. The Afghan army turned their guns on them and shot them. They felt so hopeless. It was a very tough thing. So anyway, we would have had everybody out. All Americans would have been out. And a limited number of Afghans that deserve to come out. Right now, we've taken out hundreds of thousands of people. They have no idea who they took out. They just had these big monster planes lifting up, and the scene with the 22 people falling off the sides of the planes from 2,000 feet in the air, that's the height of the World Trade Center, but actually much higher. You watch the World Trade Center, now double that height, that's what happened, falling off the sides of the planes. This was the most humiliating time in the history, and there was no reason for it. I dealt with the Taliban. I dealt with Abdul. He was the leader, he still is. And he understood me 100%. We didn't have one soldier killed in 18 months. And Biden said that in one of his speeches. He said, well, I will say we didn't have any soldiers killed in the last 18 months. And they wanted him to say, but give them some bad news. He didn't say that, which I thought was very nice, or he didn't know to say it. But we didn't have one soldier killed. We would have left there so easily. There was nobody going to be killed. They had total respect for us. Now they laugh at us. But think of it, a parade with our military vehicles and our military equipment right down the middle of their main street.
Let me ask you a question. You dealt with General Milley.
Yeah.
The senior staff at the Defense Department.
Yeah.
Nobody resigned over this. Apparently they said they raised some objections, but they wound up going along. What is your impression of General Milley and this senior staff there?
Well, I knew him well, and he made one statement that was a terrible statement. He said, sir, it's cheaper to leave the equipment than it is to take it. And I said, wait a minute, you're saying that we have an airplane that cost $98 million. We have a helicopter that costs $50 million, an Apache. We have another vehicle that costs X, and you're saying it's cheap and brand new. Many of these, you had Apaches that were brand new, like brand new, and they didn't bomb them. They bombed like two old, broken down planes because they were so embarrassed because when it all happened. But Milley said to me, it's cheaper to leave it than it is. I said, you mean you could bring 200 pilots over there, fly all the equipment into Pakistan, and then bring it over here, or fly it directly back to the United States? All you need is a half a tank of gasoline. That's all you need is a little fuel. And you say it's better to leave it. You think, yes, sir, it's cheaper. When he said that, I mean, I won't tell you what I said to him, but I didn't say he was a smart person. When he said that to me, I couldn't believe it, okay? I couldn't believe it. People have said stupid things to me over the years, and,
What do you make of him going around your back, calling the head of the communist Chinese military?
Yeah.
I mean, that could have provoked a war just there.
That could have provoked a war. Hard to believe that he did it. He tries to downplay it. Oh, well, I was just doing this and that. I knew that he was not good when the rioters and protesters and Antifa and others tried to burn down the church, and then I went over to the church as a show of solidarity, in a sense, for sane people. And I went over to the church, and I held up the Bible, and he was there, and others were there, and most others had no problem with it. There was certainly nothing wrong with it. You know, it's lucky the church would have burned down, but just literally weeks before, they fireproofed the basement of the church, and that's where the fire took place. They threw fire bombs in there. These same people that everybody was saying how nice they were. And basement of the church, and that's where the fire took place. They threw fire bombs in there. These same people that everybody was saying how nice they were.
Dang. Check one.
For walking with the President of the United States into a fairly dangerous area where you had a lot of people. Look, you had people that just tried to burn down a very important church, built at the same time, same year as the White House. Important. And when he did that, I said, what's this all about, to myself? And I said it to other people. And after that, I really lost a lot of respect for him. I lost a lot when he said, it's cheaper to leave the equipment than it is to take it out. I started seeing signs. You know, you see little telltale signs. I started seeing signs. And I'll tell you what, you know who loves him? Russia and China. Because if they see a guy that takes the soldiers out before he takes the Americans out, and before he takes the equipment out, and that loses a lot of soldiers and a lot of people when you shouldn't have lost anybody, those parents are so angry at Biden. They wouldn't even see him. They refused to even talk about him or talk to him. The anger of the parents of those 13 young soldiers, and you can imagine also the ones that were so badly hurt, is just incredible. He did a great disservice to the country. And there are a lot of people say it's treason. And he actually endangered us when he does that, because when he starts talking that way to the Chinese, they think, oh, Trump is going to attack us. So what do you do when you think you're going to be attacked?
There we go. There we go. I think, nope.
Danger. I think that was a very dangerous moment. Only found out later, but a very dangerous moment.
No, I couldn't agree more. You have beautiful photographs in this book of you in the military.
Yeah.
You have a photograph here that is really heart-wrenching. When you're at the airport and bodies are coming off the plane.
Yeah.
You have a real affinity, a real connection with these men and women who fight for this country, don't you?
So I love them. And one of the worst moments in the campaign for me was when they made up statements. A third-rate magazine that's failing said they have a source that said I said something bad about soldiers that had died in World War I. And they made up a statement that came from me. It was unsourced. They had no source because it was never said. And they had me saying it supposedly in front of generals and other military people about losers. It was made up. It was fabricated. It was never done. And then I went to work, and I had 25 people that said that never happened. And by the way, from a common sense standpoint, I'm standing in a cemetery with many military people. And I look down and I say, they're losers. Who would say that? Only an insane, would anybody, just from a practical, but you know what? The media took it, just like they did many other things with respect to me, like the Russia hoax. And they said that I said that standing at the cemetery of World War I soldiers. Many bad things. I'll tell you, you know, I was thinking the other day, and I said it for the first time in a speech in Alabama. We had 69,000 people in Alabama recently, a few weeks ago. But I said that we were just starting to find out, because Durham, it's getting very interesting. I wish it could have been faster, but it's getting very interesting. So Russia was a hoax. They all know it was a hoax. It was fabricated, made up in order to make me look as bad as possible so she could win, crooked Hillary could win the election. But think of this. That made up and fabricated the tale. Think of that.
We'll be right back.
Ebenezer. Ebenezer.
Really?
First, you will see the past.
Excuse me, follow through.
And then the present. And finally, Ebenezer, the future.
Introducing the all-electric EQS. Happy holidays from Mercedes-Benz.
You know how some carriers give you so little for your old or busted phone you end up just living with it? I don't think so.
This Black Friday, get the amazing iPhone 13 Pro when you trade in your old or damaged phone.
You break it, we upgrade it.
You mistletoe it, champagne flow it, angels snow it.
We upgrade it whether you're a current customer or a new one.
Get iPhone 13 Pro on us and up to $800 to help cover your cost to switch.
Because everyone deserves better.
With DirecTV Stream, I can get live TV and on demand together. Watch Serena Williams, Wonder Woman. Serena, Wonder Woman. Serena, Wonder Woman.
You cannot be serious!
Get your TV together with the best of live and on demand. Introducing DirecTV Stream.
This is the sound of nature breathing. And this is the sound of better breathing. Fasenra is a different kind of asthma medication. It's not a steroid or inhaler. Fasenra is an add-on treatment for asthma driven by eosinophils. It's one maintenance dose every 8 weeks. It helps prevent asthma attacks, improve breathing, and lower use of oral steroids. Nearly 7 out of 10 adults with asthma may have elevated eosinophils. Fasenra is designed to target and remove them. Fasenra is not a rescue medication or for other eosinophilic conditions. Fasenra may cause allergic reactions. Get help right away if you have swelling of your face, mouth, and tongue, or trouble breathing. Don't stop your asthma treatments unless your doctor tells you to. Tell your doctor if you have a parasitic infection or your asthma worsens. Headache and sore throat may occur. This is the sound of Fasenra. Ask your doctor about Fasenra.
When you can't watch, listen. Get the latest news, business, and news headlines on SiriusXM. Anytime, anywhere. Fox News Audio on SiriusXM. America is listening.
Our easy switch from blow to vac is a game changer and a time saver. A high-performance blower, yard vac, and mulcher. The Works TriVac 3-in-1 isn't a new starter for your yard work team, it's your whole roster. Weighing in at just 8.8 pounds and boasting high-capacity air volume, TriVac can tackle any yard task. Change the game from blow to vac in the flick of a switch. Conquer light and heavy debris in every corner of your yard. Mulch 16 bags worth of debris into one and retire early. Team up with TriVac, your yard work champion.
Why do nearly 1 million businesses choose Stamps.com to mail and ship? No more trips to the post office. No more paying full price for postage. And great rates from USPS and UPS. Mail letters. Ship packages. Anytime, anywhere, for less. A lot less. Get our special TV offer, a 4-week trial plus postage and a digital scale. Go to Stamps.com/try and never go to the post office again.
Welcome back, America. Mr. President, let me ask you a question. You look at inflation. You look at the open border.
Yeah.
Look how this President Biden sold out to Russia on the pipeline.
Totally.
You look how he's buckling to communist China. I fear for Taiwan. You go to the Middle East. He's completely undermining the state of Israel,
right,
where you stood with Israel and you had peace agreement after peace agreement after peace agreement. They won't even call them the Abraham Accords. Two things seem to be going on. Whatever Donald Trump did, he wants to reverse. And then when it collapses, he blames Donald Trump.
It's interesting.
Does that annoy the hell out of you when you're watching that every night?
Well, I know what I'm dealing with, and I knew this during the debates. I knew this during the election. I said, your gasoline will go to $7 and then it'll go much higher. That's exactly happening. I knew what they were going to do, but they lied during all of this. They didn't say they were going to close up the oil industry. You know, I did something that a good friend of yours, Ronald Reagan, couldn't do. I got ANWR approved in Alaska. It's the biggest oil site probably in the world, probably as large as Saudi Arabia, maybe larger. I got it done. Reagan couldn't do it. Most of the others didn't try. Bush was too busy getting us into a stupid war. They didn't try, but nobody could get it done. I got it done. Nobody could believe it. And I got it done, and they just ended it. And they ended all drilling. They ended leases. We're going now to OPEC. We had so much. Okay, so we were bigger. We're energy independent. And when I left, we were bigger than Russia and Saudi Arabia. In 1 year, we would have been bigger than both combined. It's one of the great assets. We have oil. We have, I call it gold under our land. China has none. Russia has, but China has none. Big disadvantage for China. We have it. They're taking it away. You know, all I see today is about the environment. I'm a big environmentalist, believe it or not. I believe clean air and clean water. They want to destroy our country. You don't see about making our country great anymore. You don't see about factories opening. All you see and all you hear is about the environment. Russia's not going along with it. India's not going along with it. And China's not going along with it. They call it black ice. It's from the factories. Nobody mentions that. But Russia, and then the Paris Accord, I ended it because Russia doesn't have to adhere. China said we don't have to get involved for many, many years from now. India is barely even a member of it. But the United States would have to close 20 to 25% of its factories in order to adhere to what they're supposed to do. We have the most stringent, and this guy put us back in. And when I spoke to Macron and others about the Paris Climate Accord, they would smile at me. They knew how bad it was for us. They knew how bad it was for us. And you know, when I ended it, I thought I'd be just excoriated. The people of our country loved it when I ended it. And I don't know if you know, I think you do, that last year, in my last year, we had the cleanest air and the cleanest water that we've ever had in our country for, let's say, 40 or 50 years, because I assume 200 years ago, it was clean, right? There weren't so many people. But we had the cleanest air that we've had in many, many decades. So it was really something. We had a great 4 years, despite a lot of dishonesty and a real horror show, really horror show.
Let's turn to Operation Warp Speed.
Yeah.
No president, no administration has ever produced, working with the private sector, 1, let alone 3 vaccines in less than a year, dealing with a virus that was a killer virus.
Yeah.
You were mocked by the media. You were mocked by Joe Biden from his basement. You were cackled by Kamala Harris. They said they would never even get a vaccine.
They wouldn't take it.
Yeah, and of course they were jumped the line, and they were the first in line. And now they wonder why some people don't want the vaccine.
Yeah.
First of all, I haven't seen anything new produced under this president. But this Operation Warp Speed, you had to take on the bureaucracy. You had to set up supply chains. You had to do something that's never been done in American history.
Well, that's absolutely correct. Most vaccines take 12 years. They said this would take anywhere from 3 to 5, but most likely more than 5. And I got it done in less than 9 months. And we saved tens of millions of lives all over the world, all over the world. So in 1917, as you know, we had the Spanish flu, it was called, and it possibly killed as many as 100 million people. You know, I don't know if you read the history of the Spanish flu, but you probably, I think you read about everything, come to think of it. But it probably was a thing that was most responsible for ending World War I, because all the soldiers were sick, and many were dying. The Spanish flu was devastating, and they say up to 100 million people died. And it probably did end World War I, but 100 million people. I think this would have been similar without the vaccine. Had we not gotten, and then I got Regeneron, we got Remdesivir, we got many other things, therapeutic things that really, in my opinion, worked. I think Regeneron's great. Eli Lilly came out with something that's similar. We did a great job. And you know, it's interesting. So we did it in less than 9 months. Think of it, less than 9 months. It was supposed to take 10, 12 years, but they gave it 5 years. But they also said, including Fauci, it probably won't work, but let's give it a shot. I said, it's going to work. It's going to work. Now, I had a little bit of inside knowledge, but I said, it's going to work. We're going to get it done. And we did something else. We bought billions of dollars worth before we knew for sure that it worked, because it takes a year to a year and a half between supply chain, which you're also seeing. Look at the supply chain. You have ships all over the oceans that can't come into our country. They can go into other countries, but they can't come into our country. It's gross incompetence. Our country is being run by people, I'm going to be very nice, that have no idea what they're doing.
We'll be right back.
What's my safe flight story? My truck is my livelihood. So when my windshield cracked, the experts at Safe Flight Auto Glass came right to me with service I could trust. Right, girl?
Safe Flight Repair, Safe Flight Replace.
Your insurance marketplace, Health Markets.
You're right, Bunker. The Medicare enrollment deadline is almost here. If you're on Medicare and you want to explore your options, the deadline to enroll is December 7th, so you should act now.
Where do I find the right Medicare plan?
At Health Markets, they search many of the nation's most recognized carriers, so they can help you find the right plan at the right price that's the right fit for you.
How long does it take?
Well, you could find a Medicare plan in just minutes.
My current plan only covers 80% of my costs.
Well, Health Markets may find plans that cover the rest. Unless you keep your doctor with benefits like $0 copays, $0 deductibles, and $0 monthly premiums. They'll even search plans with prescription drug coverage, vision, dental, and hearing aids. You may even qualify for free gym memberships. So call or visit Health Markets today to see if your current plan is the right fit for you. Or you may find a plan that can help save you money.
Health Market sounds great. How much does it cost?
Health Market service is free, and it's helped Americans get enrolled in over 5 million policies. And with a Better Business Bureau A+ rating, you can trust Health Markets. Health Markets doesn't work with just one insurance company. They work for you, and at no cost to you. With Health Markets, you don't have to stress about picking your health insurance plan. Okay, Bunker. He really doesn't want you to miss the December 7th deadline.
Call 800-532-0466 or visit healthmarkets.com. Don't wait. Save time. Find the plan that fits you. Call Health Markets today. 800-532-0466. That's 800-532-0466 now. Or visit healthmarkets.com to find a health plan that fits you.
Your insurance marketplace, Health Markets.
To be a thriver with metastatic breast cancer means asking for what we want and need, and we need more time. So we want Kisqali. Women are living longer than ever before with Kisqali when taken with an aromatase inhibitor or fulvestrant in postmenopausal women with HR-positive, HER2-negative metastatic breast cancer. Kisqali is a pill that's significantly more effective at delaying disease progression versus an aromatase inhibitor or fulvestrant alone. Kisqali can cause lung problems or an abnormal heartbeat, which can lead to death. It can cause serious skin reactions, liver problems, and low white blood cell counts that may result in severe infections. Tell your doctor right away if you have new or worsening symptoms, including breathing problems, cough, chest pain, a change in your heartbeat, dizziness, yellowing of the skin or eyes, dark urine, tiredness, loss of appetite, abdomen pain, bleeding, bruising, fever, chills, or other symptoms of an infection, a severe or worsening rash, are or plan to become pregnant or breastfeeding. Avoid grapefruit during treatment. Ask your doctor about living longer with Kisqali.
This is a Fox News alert. I'm Ashley Strohmeyer live in New York. An update now on a tragic story we've been covering throughout.